Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. Today we're going to look at the third app in the Clicker series from Crick Software, and that's Clicker Books. This is a relatively new app. This came out just a couple months ago. It retails for right around $30. It's a really neat app in that it lets you do lots of different things. I'm going to go ahead and tap into this so we can take a look at our main page here. So this page shows us the books that we have available to us, and there's really a few things that we can do with this. With our Clicker Books, we could actually take and adapt a book to a reading level for a student by adding pictures, adding text to the level that the student needs, and then just making it so that the student can read that book. We could also allow the student to use this app to create their own books, or we could give them pictures, have them talk about those pictures, or have them write about those pictures. Lots of things that we can do, and we'll explore a few of those right from the get-go. If we look here over on this side, you can see there's three ways to access books from the Clicker Books app. The first one is through the iPad. So these are the books that are loaded on the iPad. Most of these come on here. You can see about the examples, the animal homes, animals of Savannah, colors and numbers all come with the app. My Office is one that I created that we'll show you in a little bit as well. This also links the second option over here. We tap on that. That links us to Learning Grids. That's the Crick Software free sharing site. So you could go through this and you could download books that other people have created from the Learning Grids site in the Clicker Books and have your students access those as well. And then there's Dropbox. If you had books within Dropbox that you wanted to move over, you could do that and have the students access them. I'm just going to go back to the iPad and I'm going to show you Animals of the Savannah, the reading version of what this is going to look like. So if we open this up, you're going to see here, this is how they've set it up so that we've got the title page, a full picture in the background, and then a little box, a speak bubble down here. If we tap that speak bubble, let me make sure this is turned up all the way first so you can hear it. If we tap that speak bubble,
Animals of the Savannah,
it's going to read and it's going to highlight that as it reads. Then if you look down on the bottom of this page, you can see a number of little tiny dots here. Those tiny dots indicate how many pages there are within this book. So if we wanted to go to the next page, we just swipe from right to left, and that's going to take us to the next page. You can see here we've got a picture in that page, and we've got some text in this page. If we went and hit on the speak bubble here, it's going to read that text for us. Oops, I can't click on it. I got to tap on it. And I'm going to go ahead and stop that. Just gives you an example of how that works. Now, we can continue swiping through and seeing there's pictures and text with more animals, more information here as well. I'm just going to show you once this catches up to me. Let's see if it, there we go. It's caught up to me now. We can edit this as well. So we can edit any of these just by tapping on our screen. It converts it to edit mode for us. So there's a couple of things that we can do with this. Let's say, and while as you saw it changed back, if I wait 5 seconds and don't do anything, it automatically gets out of edit mode. But let's say that that text was too small. If I just act like I'm going to zoom in on the text, I can make it bigger. You can see that's way too big on my screen, and zooming in is pinching out, zooming out is pinching out, zooming in is pinching in. If we want to make that smaller, we pinch in. You can see that becoming smaller and fitting back into my text box there on my screen. I can do the same thing with the picture. If I tap on the picture and zoom in, let's say we want to really focus on that animal's face, we can zoom in on that face. If we want to zoom back out, we pinch in, and it's going to allow us to maneuver that picture to where we want it to be to fit into that book. So as teachers, we can set up this book the way that we'd like for our students to be able to have access to reading it out loud. The one thing that I'm not really thrilled about is we can lock these from being edited. I don't think we can lock them from going into edit mode. So if they tap too long, they're going to get into edit mode. They can't do anything in there once they've accessed that. From this edit mode screen, this is how we can get out to other screens by tapping on the button up in the top left corner that's going to appear here. That's that 3 file folder thing, kind of takes us back to showing us the entire book. So here's that entire Animals of the Savannah. If we wanted to add a page at the end, we'd tap the button down here that has the plus key. That adds a page for us. We go up to the star up here and tap on that. That star allows us to add this to our favorites so that it's easier to find that way. Or if we go and we can go into recents, we can see all of the books that have been opened recently. So again, that Animals of the Savannah is a good example of adapting a book to the iPad for somebody to read. We could change reading levels. We could change words in there to make it more accessible to students at their reading level. We can also create our own books in this. I'm going to go into My Office. This is one that I had made earlier today. We tap on this. You can see from the beginning, it says My Office, shows a picture of my office. I slide over, and it's got a picture of me. My name is Jim Stovey. I work in ICATER at the University of Iowa. I can, if I want it, and I can go to the next page. Here you can see when I go to that next page, so I've shown you there's pictures. We can also draw a picture. I drew a picture of that eye in there. Go to the next page. We have different layouts. We can use this particular layout as the whole picture on the screen. We can overlay the text on top of that. Go to the next page. There's just another layout here. I'm going to take you to a blank page now, and I want to show you how we can add a page to this and show you kind of what we would go through with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap on my screen to get into edit mode, and I'm going to go up to the top and click those file folders to show my whole book. Now I'm going to go down to the bottom corner here where the plus sign is, and we're going to add a page to this book. So you can see now it's added page 6. If I tap on page 6, it's going to take me in here, and now you'll see what we can do with lots of different things. We look on this side, we can add a title to this page if we want, but since we're deep into this, we're not going to add a title. That red box allows us to add a picture. I'm not going to add a picture right now either. We'll do that in a second. Green allows us to add text. Orange allows us to add either a recording of us speaking, or it allows us to have text read out loud that's in there in a synthesized voice. So we can decide how we want that to appear. If you look up in this top right corner, that is going to give us the layouts. So if I tap on layout, we can see we can choose a color of the page. All my pages are this blue, but if we look at color, we can choose from a color palette of several different colors to create for that page. I'm going to go to layout, and I'm going to show you there's 6 different layouts. The first one is a tiled layout with a picture on top, text below. Second one is a tiled layout with the picture below and the text on top. Third is another tiled with picture on left, text on right. Fourth is the opposite. Fifth is a free layout where we get a text box and a picture, and we can put those wherever we want on the screen. And sixth is the picture as the background. The text can be put over that picture if we want that to be done also. So let's see, for this, let's add, I'm just going to add a tiled, I'm going to add a tiled 2 here, and then I'm going to tap my screen. So you're going to see that nothing happens right away when we do that. Nothing's going to happen until we go add pictures and add text to this. So if I want to add a picture, I want to write about how we created our own app at ICATER. I'm going to go and I'm going to tap that red box, and it's going to add my picture. It looks like it's taking up the entire screen at this point. When I click on the green button to add the text, you're going to see it's going to change now. So the text is up above, the picture is down below, and that's what my page is going to look like. So let's add my picture first. I'm going to tap back in here on picture, and you're going to see across the top of the screen is going to be, and this is if we tap that button, that's going to allow us to access pictures on our iPad. So if I tap this, it's going to take me to photos on my camera roll. If I tap the second one, it's going to allow me to draw a picture. So if I tap that, I can draw a picture, and I can, draw a picture of what our iPad might look like here. We're not going to do that. We'll cancel this. The third one is going to give me the option to take a picture. So it's going to bring up my camera. I can take a picture. The fourth one that I have here is set up so that I can add pictures from a picture bank that I've created. And so I added the picture that I want in that picture bank. So I will do that in just a second. I'll show you that. The fourth option allows us to change the background color, the background color of the box, the picture box. This comes in handy when we're drawing as well. I'm just going to go back to the picture bank though now, and I'll choose the picture of our app and add that into our document. So now that's in here. So now I want to add my text. So I'm going to tap in the text box. And we're going to see a couple of things pop up now. Now this changes the look. We've seen this, the picture go over to the side, the text box becomes a little bit bigger. As soon as we're done typing, it's going to go back to the way we had it set up to look. So we have this set right now. You can see the keyboard pops up. It's using word prediction on here. Over on this side of the keyboard, we also have a learning grid that we've created. So you can pull words directly from the learning grid. So if I wanted to write at ICATER, we created the ICATER Toolkit app for the iPad. I could start writing, you know, at, and then if I'm not sure maybe how to spell ICATER, if I think I've added it into my grid, I can hit that green button, and you can see there's ICATER. If I want to make sure that that's the right one, I can hit the blue button first, then tap on ICATER. It's going to read that to me. Now if I choose ICATER, I can add that into my document, hit the green button to go back to the keyboard, and continue going, we created an app for the, and then if I go back here, iPad, I can go back by hitting the green button and say called the, and then I'm going to hit the green button again. Oops, I have a misspelling there. So if I tap on my misspelling, you're going to see it's going to change the prediction bar to all red text, and it's going to give me options there. I can listen again to the word to see which one I want. I'm going to choose called the, and then I'm going to go back. I'm going to hit the green button to go back to my grid. ICATER. I'm going to hit my green button to go back now to my keyboard. That green button just switches us back and forth from keyboard to grid. And we'll type in toolkit. And now, and I've spelled that wrong. Let's go back and fix that. And now if I hit the period, it's going to read that out loud to me. Every time we have it set so that every time we hit the period, it's going to read it back out loud. So now if I get rid of my keyboard, we're going to see that this goes back to the way we had our page set up originally. So we've got the text on the top, the picture on the bottom. Now the problem here is the text box is way too small, the picture is too big. Let's change that. To change the picture, I'm going to tap on the box that has the picture on it, and then if you look here, there's an area that if we tap that and drag, it's going to change the size of these two things. So if we drag our text box down to that level and put it there so we can see all our text, it kind of changes the size of that picture for us. And now we're at a point where we've got this all set as a page. There's one more thing I want to add though. If I tap back in here to edit, and you see that orange button, if I tap on the orange button, now what that gives me is a text bubble. I can move that text bubble and I can put that anywhere I want. I'm going to put it up in my text area. Now I want you to look up top here. What we see is we can do a couple of things. Right now we have this text button set. So with the text button there, if we just hit it, it's going to read that out loud for us in a synthesized voice. I'm going to stop it for a second and I'm going to go back into edit. We can also, when we tap on that, if you look up top here, there's a record button and a play button. So I can actually record me saying something into that to have played back as opposed to the synthesized voice. So let's do that. I'm going to tap into edit. We'll tap on our thought bubble. We'll tap on record. At ICATER, we created an app for the iPad called the ICATER Toolkit. Then I hit stop. Now if I hit play, it should play me saying that. At ICATER, we created an app for the iPad called the ICATER Toolkit. And so now when we go back into standard mode here to read, if we tap that, it plays back the recording of me saying that. So it's no longer the synthesized voice. So that helps us in lots of different ways. So now you've seen we've kind of created a page for this book. You've seen a book that was adapted in another way. What we can do is we can use this in three main ways. We can have it so that our kids can read books that we adapt, and we could either give them a human audio voice playback, or we could give them synthesized audio voice. We could have it so that our students can create books Or we could have it so that they can practice speaking and reading, where we have them record things about their books, about their pictures into this. This is an app that has a lot of options to it. I want to get into one more thing that dives a little bit deeper into some stuff here that's going to maybe be a little bit confusing, because there's two options for settings, which make this a little bit difficult. But I want to go back to the main page that shows all the pages of my book, and then I'm going to go up here to the toolbar, or the wrench. That's typically a settings button. If I tap the wrench, that's going to give us 3 settings and a help menu. If we go into the speech setting, we can change our voice, our speed, our highlighting color. We can have it speak each letter, each word, or each sentence for us. So there's lots of different options within that. If we go into our spell checker and predictor option, we can turn word prediction on and off, and we can turn spell checker on and off. And we've got those all on right now. Those are valuable tools for helping somebody edit. In accessibility, we can turn swipe pages off if we want. We can also turn on show touches. If we turn show touches on and then we tap on our screen, you're going to see, and there you go, you're seeing it, you're going to see wherever that user taps. So if you need to be able to see where the user's tapping in a format like this, you can turn that on. You also can turn on a simpler keyboard as well. That's where a lot of people might get confused, is even that is one settings. There's a second settings option for within the books that you need to be aware of as well. And so to get to that, if we go up here and we tap on edit, and then we select whatever page we want the settings to apply to. So we could have it just apply to one page, we could have it apply to all the pages. If you want it to apply to any page that you add, you have to make sure you also select these dotted out pages here. That will apply whatever settings you make now to all the pages that we add to this book. And so now that we've had all those selected, we could duplicate them, we could delete them if we wanted to, but here's the second settings button down at the bottom. If we hit settings there, this is going to give us some options for when we're editing the book. The first option is for the title box. If we hit title box, we can have a grid added here. That word grid is what I called my office. I have that set for use within a title box. If I turned that off and we went back into edit, we would just see the keyboard. We wouldn't see that little green button to switch back and forth between keyboard and grid. So that's for title boxes. Then we have text boxes as well. In text boxes, same idea. If we lock the text box, that means we can't have them edit it. So maybe if we are creating a book for our student that we want them to read but not edit, we may turn on the lock at this point so the students can't edit that. And then you can see show the keyboard first, and then we also have grids on here. And one of the options for grids is creating new. If I hit create new, I just title my grid, I add the words that I want into it, and I set up the color, and I'm set to go. So if I can see my office grid, let's see if we can go into it. That's how it would look. I would just type the words I want in here, and you can see it says use square brackets to keep words together. So if you want 2 words with a space or multiple words with spaces between them in your grid, use the brackets, the square brackets around them in that list. And then you can add punctuation, you can add your order as well. That can just be a writing support for your student. And then if we go back again, we can also create a picture box. So a picture box, we can create a picture box. If we look down here, here's my ICATER picture box. Again, you just go into, you hit add a picture and you pull in pictures from your iPad that you want to be in that picture box. That way, if you want a student accessing photos that you've taken, you can create the picture box as opposed to having them look through all the photos to add something in there. They can be specific to whatever you happen to be writing on. And then you could also turn on or off whether you want them to browse your photo library, take a photo, or paint a picture with that. And then the last option is the sound button. You could lock the sound button so it's not, they can't access that as well. So that's probably the one real confusing thing about this is there's 2 settings pieces. One setting for editing, another setting for accessing and reading. So then once we've done this, once we've made all our changes, we can go and hit done, and we're back to being able to go ahead and do whatever we wanted to do from the get-go in here, whether it's read, create books, whatever. Again, Excellent book for adapting stories for students to have read. Excellent book or excellent app for allowing students to create their own books. Excellent app for kind of directed activities within writing within the classroom. And it's fairly affordable at right around $30 as well. If you have any questions on this app or any others, please feel free to email me at james-stachowiak@uiowa.edu. And as always, you can pick this up, this webinar, along with several others, on our ICATER Toolkit app, which is free in the App Store for the iPad. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day.